Welcome to Rational Thinking module. Funny thing happened. I recorded this module and then I checked the module, there was no sound. And I kept talking with a lot of passion and, you should do this and that. It was a funny thing. Then I had to re record it, but um, always fun. But I could discover better points to kind of help you with rational thinking. I'm just checking my mic again. Once bitten, twice shy. Anyways, this module is not just for women, and I'm not doing this module because I'm my target audience is women. This is gender agnostic. All of us founders are emotional thinkers, and think about it, starting up in itself is a very emotional decision, and then you're backed up with logic and numbers and all of that. But to begin itself is a very emotional decision because it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of passion to get started, but to sustain takes a lot of um, rational thinking, logic, data, discipline, all of those things. And I want to introduce you to this concept of rational thinking early on in your course because this is something you're going to leverage going forward in the think stage, in the build stage, in the systemize stage. And earlier the better. So without wasting more time, not that I was wasting time, but without spending more time on what I think, let me introduce you to the difference between emotional thinking and rational thinking through examples. Okay, right. Let's get into it. I'm giving you one example, very simple example. A lot of entrepreneurs are they're in love with their own ideas and they think the way they are thinking is the right way to think. And that's very emotional thinking. So, for example, I'm giving you this example difference between emotional statement and a rational statement. So, when customer gives a feedback to an emotional thinker, this is what they think. They just don't understand my vision. This customer complaint is wrong. My product is perfect. And what is the result they're going to achieve with it? Ignoring valuable feedback, building features nobody wants, and eventual failure. But on the other hand, if you were a rational thinker, you would say, this is the fifth customer saying the same thing. Let me analyze the pattern and adjust my product accordingly. And you'll be more data driven, your improvements are better, you get a better product market fit, and you get more customer satisfaction. Similarly, another example that I've seen in pricing strategy of a lot of startups. I worked so hard, it's worth at least rupees 5,000. People should pay premium for quality. So then you tend to overprice it and you're not evaluating the value. You will lose customers to competition. But if you were a rational thinker, you would say, okay, let me research the competition, survey 50 potential customers, and then test three price points and see what happens. What is the price that sticks? So this is the difference between, because all of us, when we start, we believe our vision is unique. This is something that people will find absolutely unique, and they will go for it. But we need to test it out with customers, and we need to think about it in the right way. So I'll elaborate more on these things as we go along. Another decision, hiring decision. She's so enthusiastic and reminds me of myself when I started. I'll hire her even though she lacks experience. Now, what is going to happen? Poor performance, higher training costs, team frustration. On the other side, if you think rationally, you would say, I need specific skills, social media expertise, 2+ year experience, proven results, and let me assess based on these things. So you have the right person for the role, you have better team productivity, you have business growth. Similarly, with investment insights, that investor questioned my business model. They obviously don't understand my vision. They don't believe in me. I will find someone who believes in me. Now, this is all emotional thinking. You're letting your emotionals run high. And rational thinking would be three investors raised the same concern. Let me check my business model. Let me strengthen it. Let me improve my assumptions. Let me see what I can do and make a better pitch to the next investor. So you make a stronger business case, better investor relationships, and smarter funding decision. I'm going to leave this case study, these examples with you. The link will be available here, and you can go through this and understand the difference between emotional and rational thinking. So, emotions make you very impulsive. You need to control that going forward in terms of all the decisions that you make, all the choices that you make in your startup. I also want to share more points with you on this. So, what is the difference between emotional thinking and rational thinking? I've shown it with a few examples, and I hope that made it clear. But emotional decisions are based on immediate feelings. This is what I fear. This is what excites me. This is what stresses me. And rational decisions are based on data, logic, long term consequences. So, if you have to be a rational thinker, you have to separate facts from feelings. You have to understand, okay, instead of how it is making me feel, what is really going on. You have to seek multiple perspectives. I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs don't go out and discuss with fellow entrepreneurs or in groups that they are part of. You should go and discuss your problems with peers because they are going through the same thing and somebody has solved this problem. We always believe that this is the first time it is happening, you know, or this is the first time this problem is happening to anyone. Please remember, this is not happening for the first time. This is only happening to you for the first time. Somebody's already solved this problem. Somebody's been through it. Somebody knows how to work on it. So, talk to more people, discuss, build a peer network, which will help you see through these problems. Question your assumptions. What am I assuming here? You know, if somebody is pointing out a mistake or a feedback or something that you've received, you should see what are your assumptions. I'll give you quick tips also to manage your emotions, and this works very well. I use them because everybody is emotional. Somebody gives you a bad review, or somebody speaks disrespectfully to you, and your emotions get triggered, right? So your immediate reaction would be give a response, give a reply. But if you control that in that moment, you're going to sail through a lot of things, a lot of problems in your startup journey. I use the 24-hour rule. I usually do not react um, to a situation before 24 hours. I let myself calm down a little, analyze, see what's going on, see what I've misread, read things again and again, do some research, and then take a decision. Like I said, I check on data. Um, this decision that I'm taking, what is the data that's backing it up? Am I working on assumptions? Is there evidence to this? Um, what does data say about this particular decision? Ego audit. I mean, inevitably you get into discussions with your co-founders where you can see that it is important for someone to be right rather than to see what is right for the business. And this someone could be you or your co-founder or somebody else in the team. Stay away from these kind of decisions. Bring some semblance to your core team and decide how you're going to take decisions. They never should be impulsive and never to prove somebody wrong or to prove yourself right. Take the third person test. This is a very simple thing. Let's assume you are your own friend who's come to you for advice, right? What will you tell your friend? How will you tell your friend to approach that problem? So think about this. That's why I do these things within 24 hours of getting into a situation so that I can give a response which is well calculated. So I hope you got the gist of it, because that's my objective, to help you understand what is the difference between being emotional and being rational. We need a balance of both. And you would say we should be emotional about, our customer problems, our team, all of that is valid. But when you get into situations, you should give it some time, think about it clearly, and then react. So avoid your impulses, or avoid reacting to certain situations in extremes. And that is the purpose of this particular module. I'll see you in the next video.